Howdy, y'all, and welcome to Volume 24 of the Songwriter Sessions here at Wilson Valley Mercantile. Today, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking with Eley and John Arthur Martinez in anticipation of our next Songwriter Roundup, which will be the 20th of August. Thanks. Y'all enjoy. Well, John Arthur Martinez, Eley Davis, thank y'all for joining me today. Glad to have y'all here on the 24th Songwriter Sessions. And thanks for being here. Looking forward to seeing, at least seeing you, John Arthur, in a little less than a week.
Yeah, we'll see you shortly. Looking forward to it. That's my old stomping grounds.
Yep. Well,
I was at
your
the
old stomping
University.
grounds. Expand on that a little bit.
Well, I was at the University of Mary Hardin Baylor for several years. Speaking of tennis caps, I was there on a tennis scholarship, uh, and I was
Okay.
for a brief period I was the number one player on the team until I blew my knee out. So then I turned to songwriting.
Oh well.
But that's a true story.
Thank goodness for the songwriting part.
Well, I agree. At that time, I didn't think I needed a guitar, but it became my solace. It became the thing that I used to anytime I came in from class or off the tennis court. I went from number one on the team to number four with a bum knee, and but the music became my focus and my drive.
Okay.
Right.
Where do you find your inspiration for your songs?
Everywhere. The oak trees in front of my house, that sunset overlooking Pack Saddle Mountain, just toward Llano, Texas. The conversation I had with my wife last night. It's everywhere. Cup of coffee I have in the morning at the cafe, or an experience I had at the Cafe Du Monde on Christmas Eve in New Orleans. Songs are everywhere. You just got to grab them.
I like that. That.
Well, whenever you're a host of a songwriting event, you you need to be confident in who you are as a songwriter, but you also need to be willing to leave your ego at the door and allow somebody else to shine.
Mm.
It's their moment as your guest, and you got to allow them to shine. And they tell a story about something interesting that inspired this song. You don't have to chime right in immediately and say, "Well, I got a better story regarding a similar situation." You got to let everybody shine at it, and leave your ego at the door.
I like to take it as an opportunity to when I'm getting to host, it's an opportunity for me to kind of sit back and watch my friends because I don't always get to do that. Normally I'm playing on a Friday or Saturday night, the same night that my friends are playing. And so this gives me an opportunity to kind of sit there right next to them and watch them do their thing. And that's my favorite part about it.
I really love watching y'all when you play off each other, and that this song or this story. Well, this you know relates back to another experience that the other person had, and that's one of the things that I always find enjoyable about the rounds. John.
I have a couple of strange but true gigs that were booked. One lady, her daughter heard me playing in Wharton, Texas, at a coffee shop on the square. And this was when her daughter was probably, I'm going to say, 4, 5, 6 years old. And that girl had memorized all the words to one of my songs. And now she's getting married, and they're flying me in, and they want me to come do their wedding and the daughter's wedding, and be the music for that in Jasper, Alabama. And
Wow.
and that's in September. I remember this vividly because I'm flying on September 11th, and the wedding's on September 12th. And then another unusual wedding where one of my cousins in California. She's been following me since she was a young girl, and she chose a song for her father-daughter dance, and as a surprise, they wanted to fly me in to come actually sing it live for the father-daughter dance. But it got a little out of control, so they had to tell everybody that was involved. But anyway, I'm going to San Luis Obispo in October to do that. And I don't do a whole lot of weddings. I get asked to do some rehearsal dinners occasionally. Usually they want a big thump thump wedding band for that kind of thing, but this is two unusual things. Now, I say I don't get asked to do a lot of weddings. I did get asked to do a wedding reception for Andy Roddick and Brooklyn Decker for their family wedding reception, the private wedding reception. So I did Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey's rehearsal dinner years ago as well. So, but those are
Wow.
some marquee things I've done in my life. I was sworn to secrecy for
Cool.
that one.
You've been in the Texas music scene for more than a few minutes. What are some of the changes that you've seen over the years?
Well, the Texas music scene, as we know it, has evolved into this certain sound, this Texas, Oklahoma, red dirt sound, and I love it. I love the fact that we have our own music industry, but that we can claim as our own, and that radio actually has created a format for it, and that there are still stations that specifically play artists from that format. But it goes much further back, as you know. When I was a kid, I would go living in Marble Falls. There was a fella named Floyd Tillman, and he's a member of the Country Music Association Hall of Fame. And you probably don't know his name, and it's okay that you don't, but I bet you know his songs, and I bet you know the artist that recorded his songs. And so that was back in the my high school days were in the 70s. This was in the 80s when I was out of college. And so I started a concert series called Floyd Tillman's Pickin' in the Park. And we would do that in Marble Falls, Texas. And I'll give you a few names that recorded some of his songs. Ray Charles and Ella Fitzgerald, Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard, John Prine and Bob Dylan, Dolly Parton. Those are just a few names that have recorded his songs, and so and Floyd Tillman goes way before me. Obviously, I think he had a success as a recording artist, as as an artist, not as a songwriter, back in the World War II days, because he would sing songs about soldiers missing the loved ones back home in America in World War II. So he's an interesting cat, and I was at the Smithsonian Institute, and I saw a display of Floyd Tillman's life and career and relics, and and it said below, recognized for his contribution to American culture. So anyway, all of those influences have been there, and Willie was one of those people influenced by Floyd Tillman, and Willie readily recognizes that, as was Ray Benson and Sleep at the Wheel, and on and on. But so the music scene has been here, and our heroes have been here for a long time. We as Texans, we have a lot to be proud of.
Thing about doing this roundup is every now and then, we have some local cats that come and play. We get special cats like you that drive all the way and play for us, and then we have some people come from Nashville that have songs that are in the top 40, and nobody knows who they are. They've never seen them before, but it's fun to kind of see the people in the crowd recognize a song, and they don't realize that the person on the stage is the one that wrote the song. That's when I see that light bulb come on, that's one of my favorite things.
I love it.
That leads into question that I'd like to pose to both of y'all. So rounds versus, for lack of a better word, regular gigs. What do you like doing more?
I absolutely love a listening situation where I'm sharing my own music. Sometimes I feel like I'm closest to the creator when I'm singing one of my own songs. And he said, well, that's only natural because the creator is the creator. And when you're in the moment where you're creating, then it's natural that you would feel that closest tie to God. And so I said, well, that makes sense. But that's when I feel the most connected spiritually, is when I'm singing one of my own songs. So
Wow.
I love those songwriters in the rounds events. I love those, and I love the song swaps that I schedule every month with my buddy Mike Blakely. We played last night for 2 hours, and I think we did 3 cover songs the whole time. And I do the same thing with Pauline Reese once a month. And this Sunday, I'm hosting the Songwriters Meetup in Marble Falls at Brass Hall. And my podcast guest is Kim Carson, who's an international success story. Even though folks in the United States may not know who she is, she's probably done 20 tours of Europe. And then after we do the podcast with her, we'll have a songwriters open mic, and songwriters come from all over the place to be at the songwriters open mic. I'm amazed at how many people show up and just want to get the opportunity to share 2 of their songs in front of their peers. And so that's a beautiful thing. So I love those. I love the songwriting part of it the most. Every third Sunday at Brass Hall in Marble Falls, Texas, and we have a podcast taping where I interview the songwriter that's featured. And like I said, this week it's Kim Carson. You can go to kimcarson.com. I think that's her website. But the last month I had Pauline Reese. I've had Mike Blakely. I've had Gary P. Nunn as podcast guests. Bob Livingston. A bunch of
Nice.
greats. And what I try to do is I try to find people who have stories to share about their interaction with some of the legends who came before us in the Texas music scene, particularly in the Texas Hill Country, because the Texas Hill Country is rich with these people. Willie Nelson, for example, established a Montessori school in Marble Falls, Texas, that's still in existence. And of course, Floyd Tillman lived there for better part of 3 decades.
You had one at Pootie's Roadhouse as well that I got to play with. You. Do you still host that on
I, I
Mondays?
don't I don't want to slight or forget Pooties. I love Pooties. Yes, I do that every first Monday of the month. I host that at Pooties, and then
That's a
I
fun
usually
place.
invite. Yeah, and boy, they listen in there. They have signs on every table. On Monday night, it's a songwriters night. We ask you not to talk during the songwriters performance. If you want to talk, go outside. And there it is right on every table. And I love it. And it's a great, great listening environment.
Yeah.
Well, John, Eley, thank y'all for joining me today, and look forward to seeing y'all on Thursday.
Look forward to it
Yes,
myself.
sir. Thanks again, John.
Adios.